right? And then some of the surrounding islands in close proximity, they speak in English, right? All of us was fighting. There's no tribe that wasn't in this fight. There's not one. We was all in this shit. That's why you got motherfuckers that look like Polynesians in places where Polynesians shouldn't have been.
Facts. There's like Asian looking people in Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And
So
they speak just like us. Like it's so crazy. And I'm like, yo, where did y'all? They like, we've been here forever. I'm just like, forever. Like.
So when we fought the Seminole Wars was like the big war battleground because the trees, the terrain, the enemy couldn't get in there. Florida was way different topography than it is now.
More like marshy.
No, it was trees. The trees was like Florida redwoods, some of them. A lot of them was. But when the invaders would run in there, you had half of the Seminoles hit the treetops and attack them from the top, while the other half hit the marsh and attack them from the swampy ground. So they couldn't never get a stronghold. So they start cutting down the trees and setting fires until they pretty much, like right now when you go through Florida, most people don't pay attention. But you have major tree stumps that's been there for at least 100 years, right? And they like, you could tell it was a bunch of trees there, but they don't cut them down. Like when you know what lumberjacks do in foresting, they cut close to the ground. These trees not cut close to the ground, and they all did, right? And the reason they did because they burnt them up, right?
It's crazy. I was born in Miami, but I claim Virginia because that's where I'm from, and like, we had a house in Miami and everything or whatever, but I was always telling my mom how I liked more so the middle of Florida and North Florida because it had more agriculture. Like it had more greenery there. Like in Miami, there's a few palm trees. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no like real green. And I was just like, it's actually crazy that it's just houses everywhere and there's no green, barely any grass.
The land in Florida used to look like the bayous of Louisiana. Almost all of Florida. And then where all of the major cities of Florida, Jacksonville, Miami, Dayton, Tallahassee, those were what you call dry lands of Florida. The majority of Florida they lived in the treetops. We called them skywalkers. It wasn't just Florida. The rainforests of the South that was cut down stretched all the way going into Texas.
Oh, shoot. So like it went through Alabama, through Georgia, Alabama.
Through Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, all the way up into Texas. They had trees cut down. If you go back to the stories of what's this? He had Babe the Blue Eye, Paul Bunyan, the great lumberjack, right? Because Paul Bunyan was the symbol for the lumberjacks that they brought over here to chop all that shit down.
Wow.
Then they found out how to monetize the trees, and we was fucked after that. Once they found out how to monetize the trees, that's when they started giving it to us with no motherfucking lube.
Do you believe in energy vortexes? Because like I'm here in Georgia, right? And like it does not. I get the kind of same feeling that I get when I'm in Arizona. Like it's a lot of, there's a lot of that everywhere, but it's a lot of weird shit going on over here. Like a lot of weird shit, and like.
Well, this might help you. Atlanta is where Atlantis is supposed to reemerge from.
Ooh.
Atlanta. But before Atlantis can reemerge from Atlanta, meaning that the elders that's in Atlanta are the most instrumental, but they're not going to be seen until we see three kings walk in the land. And when three kings raise the matriarch, there's some people in Atlanta that's probably about 200 years old. They got the real keys. The keys I got, that's just opening the door to Big Mama house. But the real old people that live in Atlanta, they real old. I mean, like they real old. Like they old to the point where the whites of their eyes look like it got buildup on it, and it's kind of like a grayish color. They old.
Look like they got cataracts.
Yeah, but they don't got no cataracts. They see better than you.
Yeah.
And they got a very strong mystic presence, and you can probably be feeling them from where you at.
That's interesting because I feel like it is probably the elders that are gonna have to come out when they come out. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's like people here my age. I'm 23. Their frequency is so slave mentality, so locked in, and like I know like everybody has to go through their own journey and and figure it out themselves and wake up when they wake up. But it's crazy because you can give them all the facts, you can read them everything, and they'll be like, so. And it's just so crazy because it's just like, don't you want to be your best self? Don't you want to be better? Don't you want to be healthy? Don't you want to activate? Don't you don't you want to be the best you can be? And like they're so different than any other like group of indigenous Aboriginal people, because I've traveled a lot through the East Coast, and like I don't know, the people in Atlanta, like it's like they have like a hold on them, and it's so crazy because if you're saying it's going to be the new Atlantis, like I feel like a lot of people when they start waking up for real, when they start seeing everything, they're going to be sick, like sick.
Well, a lot of people in Atlanta not gonna make it.
Well,
a lot of people in Atlanta not gonna make it, and it ain't nothing that they could do about it because they not wired with the requirements it's going to take to make it through this shift. But there is some old people, and Big Mama just told me, he's channeled this since I've been talking to you. There's some people that we think dead that's in a meditative trance in Atlanta. I don't know where they at, but they in Atlanta, in the general area of Atlanta. She said when the Crystal City land, they're going to automatically wake up as if somebody poured cold water on them.
Have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Yep.
So I don't know, like when I first read them, I was like, well, this kind of makes sense. Like what it's saying doesn't sound crazy, doesn't sound bad. When it was like basically translating what it was. And then when I started doing some more research, it was a whole bunch of people saying that it has to do with like the end of the world, apocalypses and the Antichrist and stuff. But it had me really confused because I didn't feel like it said anything bad. Like live with nature, live in harmony. Like, it didn't have nothing that was like crazy on there. That was just like, okay, this is like bad. You know what I'm saying? Or not even bad, like for us to be in distress. But I also know that it was a certain kind of people who were saying that. And I read that they wanted to knock them down, but they couldn't figure out how to destroy them.
Anybody that you can, listen, this is the science. Anybody you can't figure out how to destroy them, if you can leave them to their own devices, they'll destroy themselves most of the time. Because people have a tendency, especially the way we taught, to become arrogant and egocentric to the point that they don't think that nobody can touch them. They think they're untouchable until they get touched.
Truly. Truly.
So the best thing, like me, I just want to wake people up. You don't have to believe everything that I say. I don't expect nobody to, because ain't nobody supposed to believe everything somebody say. You know what I mean? You supposed to check shit out. That don't sound right. Right. That don't sound right to me.
Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to resonate with you. Like if you get the goosies, if you flood in your spirit, and that's what it is. Like I feel like right now a lot of people are always questioning their intuition, and because I've always been a clairvoyant and I've literally seen, like literally my fiance's aunt, I told him, I was like, we gotta check up on her because I had like this vision she's gonna be leaving. She left in a week. She was gone out of here in a week. Not forever, because we don't die, but like she was gone. And like for me being so in tune with that, like I do my best to just listen to my intuition, listen to spirit, and take my download seriously versus everybody else. And I noticed too, like in the spiritual community, everybody wants to be right. This is the real truth or whatever. And I'm just like, maybe that's your truth. Maybe that's your truth. You know what I'm saying? But there's only one truth. And if it don't resonate with everybody, it's probably not really the truth. You know what I'm saying? If most people are resonating with it.
This is the problem with people talking about they got the truth. The reason why they don't got the truth is because during their research, they took sides. You can't take sides because you wasn't here. The body you in now wasn't here. You have to read that shit like a tarot card. If you don't read it like a tarot card, as an energy signature from the past that's coming into the future to give you some information, and you take sides on that shit, whatever side you pick, you're gonna pick the wrong side because there's lies on both sides of it. But when you don't pick sides and you just try to get like my man on Just the Facts, man, Adam 12, Just the Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just don't even take sides, right?
That's
It's just
awesome.
like it's like your two favorite cousins get into a fight. Just break that shit up. Don't get in that shit.
Facts. Facts. Like I was
You,
on here the other day when you were speaking on a few other I guess people in this community who are trying to wake people up. And like what I heard, I didn't hear nothing from you saying nothing bad. And everybody was tagging these people, trying to like, insinuate, instigate something out. And I just kept putting in the comments like, he didn't say anything bad though. But he didn't say anything bad. Like,
that's because they got to take a side.
and I'm like, and it
This
don't
is how
matter.
divide and conquer work.
Somebody just said the Atlanteans were born with ego and that's why they fell.
They were infiltrated. That's why they fell.
Like
They
everything
didn't
else.
fall, really. Atlantis didn't fall. We was at war. And what they said sunk as Atlantis was a ship that flew away to Crystal City coming back. It just docked on Liverpool for the 3,600-year cycle until it come back around. Right? And that give us the time to figure out this conundrum we under and work our way out of the problem. But don't everybody that come to work their way out of the problem take sides and get us fucked. They always take sides and get us fucked. And that's why it took so long to break from under it. So it's even like people be trying to pit me against people. I'm not finna do that. Only way I'm gonna come at somebody is they wrong. Absolutely wrong. And Big Mama say get them. They got. They got. But when I say something, you better believe I got the receipts to back it up.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't take sides.
And I think that is a big problem. I think that is a big problem. Like, even for little things, like, for me growing up, like, you talk a lot about like, gang talk, organizations, and like I never really understood why everyone was against each other. And I understand now what you're saying. Like everybody has been infiltrated, and that's why people don't know that we're supposed to be brothers and sisters and stuff like that. But it was always so confusing to me, like, why are we taking the side when we're that's literally your cousin. He on the next block over, that's your cousin, and you have to shoot against your cousin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we should all be, especially because I lived in the hood. So, like, I would see, like, a lot of crazy things, like, literally brothers killing each other, cousins killing each other, all for just because they want to rep something that they don't even understand fully. Like, they don't even understand that, like gang signs are sigils. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things, like a lot of stuff is like, a lot of stuff is ritual, positive ritual, and they're making it to negative ritual. And it's so crazy to me because I have been able to see deeper with that, like with watching you, because everybody has this stigma, especially on the GDs. Like if you're in the East Coast, they have the stigma on the GDs, like whatever. And to know
that's
that,
government
like,
propaganda that teaches us that we were talking about that. I was on the Telegram call. Was it Telegram? One of them channels over there on another app. And we was just talking about the gangs and the villainization of the culture. Trying to do, like, every family gonna have their own family Facebook, but then we gonna have an equivalent that we can socialize across tribes. And the family Facebooks are not going to be subject to public access from anybody. Just in general, it's going to be this family got these, and some people going to have more than one account with different families because the bloodlines cross.
Can you still hear me?
I hear you fine.
Okay, because earlier when I didn't have my headset in, they said my audio seemed scratched up. My phone was about to die, so I had to hurry and catch that. But I don't want to take too much of your time. I seen two more questions. A question that keeps popping up is, can you speak more in depth on the Crystal City? So when all of the drama happened, the Crystal City flew away. That's when they talk about Noah's Ark.
Okay, so all of the genetic material of the animals was there. Okay, so now Genesis 7:17 said it flew away. They took it up into the sky. The story of Atlantis said that it sank. They tell us everything in reverse, upside down and backwards. When you get to Revelations, the crystal city comes adorned as a bride for her groom. It's actually the Christ returns on the crystal city and adorned as a bride for her groom. Right? The stories of the crystal city are all over the world under different titles and different names. The Nation of Islam call it the Mother Plane. Right? It's a shuttle ship or a sham in Sumer that goes to Nibiru to deliver the gold. When the Galactic Council put us in the Galactic Light Lock, or the Pleiadian Arcturian Light Lock, right? And the Crystal City left was in a to deliver gold to Nibiru, so it wasn't here. So Light Lock came in, they couldn't get back in. Right? Now we are undoing the cause of the Light Lock by overthrowing the contractual agreements with the enemy. Once we overthrow these contractual agreements, then it automatically lifts the Light Lock. We all then become activate on a higher level mentally, because the Light Lock caused us to fall into an artificial Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga is the sleep state of the gods. Right? And during the sleep of the gods is when the trainees, the new gods, learn how to become gods, how to balance the energy of the earth. Well, the people that's here don't have no intentions on balancing nothing. They had nothing but destruction on their mind because it was all military. Now we going back to spiritual development, family structures, clanning up, tribing up, as they call it. But the word tribe, we didn't use that word. We didn't even use the word clan, but we use different terms. But we don't speak none of those languages. Right? So we use in the language, what we call the contemporary language, to try to relay ancient terms, ancient ideas into modern terminologies using the contemporary language. In our case, we speak it now English. But if we was in, say, Puerto Rico, we would probably be talking the same thing in Spanish. Right? And it is by this means that they use the language of English by incorporating words as catch terms. A catch term is a word that incorporate a group of words from around the world that mean different things under one word, so you can make it appear they all mean the same.
Oh no. Okay, you went out for a second.
Yeah, somebody was trying to call me.
Oh, okay, my phone. That's why they say the English language is a curse, because it be having so multiple meanings.
Right. Well, that was done deliberately. Right. So when we look at dictionaries, what do the word diction mean? Pronunciation, right? In Arabic, that's what they call tajweed, the pronunciation of accurate Arabic. Because the foreigner is never going to have the same accent and carry the language the same as the one that's a native speaker. And that's why Malachi had to learn Spanish, Hebrew, Greek. I don't got to learn all that shit. I know how to go back to the lexicons and the etymology dictionaries and get to the source. I don't need to be able to fluently read it. And if it comes up as a question, I can take the Bible and hand by hand, I can word for word translate it. Right? But that's not necessary because Malachi already done it. Right? So since he already did it, I don't have to worry about that. I'm only worried about the shit he didn't do yet. And the only thing he didn't do was to assert his birthright to oust the imposters off the land. Apparently wasn't his job.
And for those who don't know, just coming in, how would you go about asserting your birthright?
So, and under our culture and the oral tradition, we reserve our rights in the public domain and disavow any allegiance to a legal fiction or corporation. And if you know your tribe, you can announce your tribe with it. If you don't, just say you organic to the land. You the organic people that's organic to this land that they call the Americas. Right? So once you do that, you know, you stepping out of their jurisdiction back into your, what you call proprietary persona or proper person. As the proper person, now it's on file. The more of us do it, the faster this shit go. We could have been done with this 3 years ago had the people who've been fertile ground for us to reclaim our shit. We could have done it as early as July the 4th, 2019. But they wasn't ready. They still not ready because you still got people that's arguing shit that I can care less about. I don't care nothing about your nationality card. Right? That's not had nothing to do with me. That is not a knock on you. Right? Don't try to force your nationality card on me and I won't tell you to flip it over and see that it says citizen of the United States.